Morning, ladies and gents. Voodoo, PlotTwist, what's going on?
Good morning. I was confused by that view for a second. I thought, is it just going to be me and Tinfoil and PlotTwist bowing out? But
I
glad we're
thought
back.
about it, and I was like, it'd probably, be an improvement if we just dropped you out, and it was, dropped me out, and it was just you and Tim.
Oh.
But
I'm not gonna lie, this green background does feel pretty fitting. Last couple days, it's been nice seeing
green,
Fantom and all our tokens pumping for a little bit.
yes,
Yeah, man.
nice.
I like to see number go up. It's good. It's fun. I would still be very. I mean, I'm not. I don't know why people wait to like buy at situations like this. They're like, oh, maybe I should get back into crypto. Like, you should have done that a few weeks ago or a week ago when Phantom was down 40% from now. But if you're in, great time to ride it out. I would never take profits at these levels, but you know, I I would be very cautious until Bitcoin smashes 23,000 and heads up to 30. But that's just my semi-professional advice. I'm good at losing money, and so probably don't listen to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. If we, I'm intrigued to see what plays out, because I think if we do go for another little run to 30, like, does the FOMO kick in again, and then all of a sudden we blow through 30 and start heading? Yeah, it's interesting to see how it plays out.
Definitely be interesting to see, because it is one of those things where it is like almost like you don't want to get emotionally connected to the of happiness welling up because of the green. Because one thing I know about the crypto market is it giveth and it definitely taketh away. So
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, big week for us. Last week we made the first step at making our jump over to Ethereum with Hayon Lee's Cream Meow. Been slow and steady, to say the least, but as it was on AVAX.
Yeah.
Remember back to, what was our first project on AVAX? The Rat Pack?
the Rat Pack.
Yeah, so we seen it took a few projects on AVAX before people started kind of realizing the Potluck name and really coming out to support all of our stuff. We kind of seen the same thing kind of playing out on Ethereum, and it seems to be how it is playing out right now.
Yeah, I agree. And just for anyone who's, probably the people watching this are probably people that did, buy Cream out and invest. So thank you all for believing us in that journey. We said from the beginning, our goal is not just to have our Fantom and AVAX family come over and mint, although we're happy and we want that to be a part of it, of course. But we want to draw in the ETH crowd, and we're going to continue working on that. We just basically are doing something right now to bring over the Vietnamese community. There was a connection that we made from some tweets the other day by someone who's in the AVAX community, who is in like Vietnamese NFT alpha group on Telegram with about 1,500 active people. And so they're going to be posting something, a giveaway we're doing for their community. And then we got a Vietnamese channel now set up in our Discord for them to come over and join, and hopefully not just get involved with this one project, but also lots of them. And we're working on multiple different language approaches. I think that's one thing we just haven't done at all, is we have just strictly stuck with the English speaking crowd. And I think we built a good base that way, and I think it's a good time for us to be able to expand. So if you're watching this and you do speak another language, maybe English is your second language, and you'd like to help with that in any way, we're definitely looking for people, not to be like full-time moderators, but just to kind of help moderate, kind of bring some attention to those new Discord channels. We're looking at opening a Spanish-speaking one, Portuguese, Turkish, and the list could go on as demand has it. And I think that we have the potential to double or triple the holders by just being available and really catering to that crowd instead of just asking them to adapt to us. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I think you're spot on this. We were having the conversation earlier due to Ancestral Humans releasing the avatars yesterday, which I was super excited about. kind of had to dive into the whole VRM world and find out, all right, well, where are these things compatible? And you start to realize that there's not a whole lot of stuff built yet in the English speaking world for these avatars. The majority of everything that I found yesterday was not easy because it was all in either Japanese, Korean, or Mandarin. But you start to kind of realize that, yeah, that side of the world is already kind of in this, they're living in the digital realm. And that's the side of the world that we haven't really tried to tap into at all. So just from the language barrier aspect alone, understanding, you think back to Lost Kingdom. I was doing an AMA with Lost Kingdom quite a while ago, and that was one of their approaches, and how they helped grow their Discord big time was just by having somebody able to translate tweets and get past that language barrier. Yeah, it's a huge step for us. And I do want to touch on what you said, Voodoo. Like, our community needs to step up. That's what makes and breaks any project. And I can't stress enough that, like, if and when we see community members that do step up and really try to help out, like, you'll be rewarded by all means. Any one of us will be willing to step up and either reward you ourselves, or the whole project will be rewarded, and you'll see your rewards that way.
Yeah,
Again, it
and I'm
comes down to
thinking,
that's always been the collector alpha, is bring value to the projects.
yeah. So my thought is, just for anyone listening to this, or if you know somebody you want to send this over to and say, hey, check this out if you'd be interested in participating. This is easier for me to explain fully than just with a tweet about it. But for whoever wants to step up and not just be like, oh, I speak this language, so yeah, I'll do it. But like, you're actually connected with these groups. Maybe you're in some NFT communities that are just primarily speak that language. I would love for you to be involved in helping run a few giveaways that we supply the giveaways for, to like get those communities in our Discord, in that channel, get them active, and then just to help out, maybe stop in once a day and make sure there's no questions that need to be answered, or anything that we can't handle, and we'll treat you like an ultimate pass holder.
Mhm.
Someone who's contributing that much value to help grow the ecosystem for everybody, man, I'm happy to airdrop you, just like we do our ultimate pass holders, for every single drop we do, if you're really bringing genuine value, because we want to reward, just like Tin said, like, we don't expect you to do something for nothing. Even though I feel like if you bring in people, it's going to benefit you regardless if you're a holder. Like, we want to give you value and give you incentive. And so, yeah, I mean, once again, I'm not promising just because you volunteer for the role. It's like, man, bring value, show, we can track the numbers, see what's happening. But we are more than happy to be creative and to do whatever we can do in our power to grow this community and to diversify it. So yeah, man, super excited about that. But also, like, I'm going back to Cremau. We don't have any plans right now yet to like shut the mint or to reduce supply yet. We want to see what happens with these other communities. We want to see if we can kind of spur the interest through some of this and really, have it take off. But then if it doesn't, of course, we'll look at things down the road here, but appreciate the community, staying strong with it. And there's future plans for it with Hay and Lee. So we'll continue adding value to this collection regardless of whether it mints out at 5,555 or if it's a smaller mint. It will definitely be very beneficial to hold the first Potluck ETH mint. I will tell you that much. We will not let you down.
Yeah, there's always the aspect to we're always ready to pivot if needed. But the same thing, we made this jump over to AVAX and seen the same thing kind of play out. It took 2, 3, 4 projects in to all of a sudden have them start minting out, and then all the previous projects mint out. So because of our future plans with Ethereum and Solana and continuing to build out the community, yeah, there's no real point in shutting down this minter yet, because we're still building up a community over there. So why bother shutting it down? Now, yeah, the ETH thing it's definitely a big jump. It's funny because it's one of those things where, and we've had this conversation before about the idea, if you think you understand the NFT market, like, that's you understand it less. There's a lot of projects on Ethereum that have minted out and sold out, and that there's nothing to it. You don't know who the team is, don't know who the artist is. So I have a lot of faith in our process, that if we continue to do this, people are going to gravitate to this. Our culture, the idea of a docs team, docs artist, like people are going to gravitate towards this.
Yeah, I agree. And I think as the Sandbox Land progresses, as development on that starts getting leaked, the pictures, the images, as the Swole Star Lament happens, that brings in a different crowd um, and more awareness on the ETH side. Yeah. And then we got a free mint coming up on ETH probably the next week or so with the Bit Skull Society. And once again, the goal, we will whitelist certain people in our community. There will be ability to get some, for burning the Dead Skull Society. That's right. Isn't that what it's called? What's the other one? Dead Skull
It,
Society. So
no, it's Secret
um,
Society.
secret. What is it?
I don't know. I made it. I don't even know. Secret Society.
Something.
Dead.
Secret Society of Skulls that PlotTwist made. Um, so you will have the ability to burn some of those. But
Secret Society.
yeah, so I'm almost like we're going to do some creative things to bring in some attention to that, some Discord game stuff. We're going to do that with the Swole Starlas. We're kind of right now, Sarge is working to kind of plan how we're going to just generate some attention and some FOMO that maybe we haven't done before because we haven't needed to on Fantom or AVAX with our community being so big. But over there, we're nothing. So we have to be creative. We have to do things. So really excited. But anyways, I think those three mints, when you combine them, I think that's going to lay a really good foundation. I think it's going to help each other. And then I think it's going to help our other projects. And so just wanted to give you guys, before we hop into other stuff, just wanted to kind of lay out our plan. And I think right now there's some other alpha and another big project we're doing that's not a mint related, but it's going to bring in a lot of attention to our ecosystem. I can't really share right now, but we will probably within the next week to 2 weeks tops be unveiling that for the public. It's going to be really awesome to see what happens. But what I can say is, so we're working on something really big that I think will bring a lot of eyes. But then I think the crossing the language barriers, who knows how big it's going to be, but obviously I think it's massive. I think it's going to be huge,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's going to be an overnight success. I think it will be, gradual, as in maybe we share it with a Discord or a Telegram group of 1,500 people. And out of that, initially 10 of them come over to our Discord and they're introducing themselves and they're seeing what's going on. Well, then we can be strategic. We could airdrop those 10 people all some Potluck NFTs. We could give them labs. We can do things that then they go back and tell other people, oh man, this community is crazy. Like they're giving us stuff. They're awesome. They're a good group to be around. So just so you know, we're going to work hard at this. Like we're not accepting defeat. And we really, really, from the bottom of our hearts, appreciate everyone who did come over and mint on the East side and support us. But we're not depending on that. We want to help you guys. We want to bring in the crowd. So enough on that. What's next? What other alpha? I mean, we've got the Bit Killers. Let's talk about that. That's tomorrow. I know you made a comment on Twitter, Tinfoil, about how Danetron's just too talented. It's not fair because when you look at this style of art compared to his other, totally different, and he killed both. So kind of what are your thoughts on this project? We can talk about, supply, price, and all that, give some details. But also, PlotTwist, I want to hear your opinion, maybe even first on the project, because there's like so many attributes, traits, layers. It's so diverse looking. Not like Hunters of Evil. Hunters of Evil, I felt like was a higher, like when you look at it, you're like, this is finer art. But maybe there was more similarity in how they looked. Whereas these, you have such diversity. So I think everyone's going to be like, man, it feels like a 101. So.
Yeah, there's a huge, I definitely felt like going through helping compile this, there way more diversity than the Hunters of Evil, and I'm not saying that as like a negative towards Hunters of Evil. I'm saying that as a positive towards the Bit Killers. That there is a ton of different. I mean, there's probably double to triple the amount of traits in the Bit Killers as there was in the Hunters of Evil, and yeah, I mean, I think it's like I love the art. It's always interesting because different artists have different styles of like the pixelated art. And I think Danetron has done it unbelievably well. I mean, if you just go on and watch anybody can go on Twitter, see the GIF of the different. I mean, it looks fantastic, and I'm super excited about the Bit Killers, just because how awesome the artwork is.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. Danetron's just on another level. Again, I there's a lot going on in our ecosystem. So to touch back on what you were saying earlier, like I think there's an aspect to there's members of our ecosystem that are also expanding and having this conversation with Tombheads. He was very stingent on the idea of like, Potluck, you guys shouldn't be doing this alone. The idea that there's a lot of these Fantom artists that are going to benefit greatly from making the jump to Ethereum, that this does need to be a kind of team effort, an ecosystem effort. So stuff like the bit shadows on ETH, that project will help bring a lot of eyes to Fantom artists, and I think they're all kind of going to help play off each other. Datron to me is again one of these artists as well that it's going to continue to build out his brand. I definitely see him making the jump to the big chains at some point in time, which again I think will feed value back to these original projects. And then just for him to showcase, like, I don't know if I've ever seen him. I think I've seen him do one Deadheads pixelized that went through the Tombheads auction. But to just be so good at what he does and then out of nowhere just all of a sudden drop this incredible pixel art style, I just think is like, that's why I made that tweet of like, this is not fair, like how talented you are. It's nuts. I love seeing the diversity of that, and especially because like I think it's kind of a big thing going forward. So it's weird because I can still look at the pixel art and tie it to his brand. Like you can still look at that and go, that's Danetron. That's part of, his zombie stuff. I think that's huge because when again, talking to my little brothers and the next generation of people that are going to be collecting assets, they like pixel stuff. Talking to the AVAX community, there's so many of the AVAX community, they love the pixel work. Yeah, I'm bullish as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I literally thought the same thing when they were telling me, hey, it's gonna be the Bit Killers pixelated, and I was like, at first I got a little nervous because I was like, but Danetron's style is like completely like I felt like at the time it was like this is a lot different. Like how's it? And then like as soon as I saw the first, I was like, this is unbelievable. Like I love this. Like yeah, it definitely is on brand.
Just a genius, like the way he tied in the ghosties and stuff like that. Even the images that he's put out on Twitter. The banner images, when the similarity in the pixel work of those to the Hunters of Evil banners that he was putting out. Like you can just see it's the same brand, but to be able to have that diversity, I think it says a lot. Yeah, Congo's got an interesting comment here. He says, pixel art is a mystical digital art. It's mosaic style. And it's been interesting to see a lot of these, because I'm not the biggest pixel art fan. I typically more so collect the traditional art, but it's been amazing listening from the perspective of the traditional artists who have either tried to dabble in or are dabbling in pixel work, where they talk about like, it's a whole different skill set. And like it's really difficult. It's almost it puts you in a box where you have to work in these pixels, whereas you have so much more freedom in the traditional art world. So I think it's huge. I'm super bullish on Danetron and just that whole brand that he's building.
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost like, I mean, I think it's sad in some ways for some artists, but I mean, it's awesome for the opportunity for lots of people. But it's almost in crypto, especially with PFPs, that the simpler it is, the more people like it. I mean, you can look at a lot of the projects on ETH that have taken off, and the art is so simple. It's just like, I mean, almost dumb sometimes. But even just like pixel projects, the simplicity of a CryptoPunk. But then you go to like really high tech, or like 3D projects like Roboto and stuff. And you're like, man, people aren't vibing with that. What's going on? Or you look at art like Sick Individuals stuff, and you're like, man, the skill level that it takes to do something like that, you would think if we just do things based on the way it looks, that would have like the highest floor price, or that are similar to our highest projects. But that's not what it is. People like cute and they like simple. And ultimately, like those are the projects that, as long as they've got a good team, a good community feel, like I feel like people rally around that. I mean, you look at the frogs. People like little frogs, like Frogcorium. You just go through all these projects, and you're like, man, if it's a cat or it's a frog or a monkey, like a cute monkey, it's pretty much going to win. That's just how it is. And so I think it can be frustrating for some artists, and sometimes it's frustrating for me because I'll be like, man, this art is just so good. I wish people appreciated it. But you just gotta like play with what works, kind of run with the play that's working. Just keep it going. So
yeah, I do want to touch on the idea. So it's been awesome to see a lot of the Fantom artists now that are making the cross-chain jump. Not seeing a whole lot of projects being only released on Fantom or only released on AVAX anymore, which I think is a really interesting dynamic that's being created already. Did get off this morning that I know Joe Pegs is putting together a big charity event and will be they are reaching out to a bunch of our big Fantom artists. I've been trying to make some connections with them, and I think that's going to be a huge thing for our ecosystem as well. I believe it's going to be like an in real life kind of charity event. It's going to be run by a bunch of people that specialize in charity work, and to hear members of that team talk about, hey, we want to reach out to these Fantom artists because there's something going on here. I think that is just super telling at the effort that the community is putting in to build this relationship. And again, when it's the heads of these biggest protocols are noticing this. Ava Labs is noticing, the foundation's noticing, Joe Pegs is like the biggest players in this space are noticing what is happening. I think as we continue to, as a community, make this jump to the big chains to showcase what we got, it's gonna be huge for us. And then never mind all the other alpha that Voodoo's sitting on. They're just gonna crazy shit. Crazy shit.
It's tough for me to sit on alpha, man.
I know.
It's painful right now.
But it does. It just goes to like show like the future of crypto is, one big family, like whether it's Fantom, whether it's AVAX, like we can celebrate the best of both chains. We can learn, right? And, there's all areas that, there's improvement that can be made in all areas that, some weaknesses that are over here or strengths over there and vice versa, and can really just grow and develop together. And I think that does just, when it comes down to, to me, everything just all boils down to the mindset that somebody has. It's the zero sum game or the poverty versus abundance mindset. And whether or not if you think that someone else winning means that you're losing, that is the wrong mindset to maintain. I mean, it just simply is, because it's the rising tide raises all boats in the harbor. And, it's like, people do more damage to themselves and, their immediate community by, not, thinking that if someone else is winning, I'm losing, versus celebrate the wins. That's why I'm so fired up about, seeing the bit shadows and all of that, like make the jump to ETH and like whatever way I can, mint or whatever and support that. Why would I not want to be a part of that? Why would I not celebrate that? We have no, direct stake in what happens there, other than we know at the core, if they go win massively on ETH, then all that's going to do is drive more attention from the ETH community on the Fantom community. And then that means the Fantom community is going to win more. And so it's like we can celebrate the successes, we can celebrate the wins, and we can be a part of making sure that works, even if it's just simply in the form of leveraging the wallet and minting, because it is, it's where we're headed. I really believe we can fundamentally change the NFT landscape, not the Fantom NFT. Like, we can fundamentally change the NFT landscape, and I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm so excited to make these jumps again, because from day one we've just known, like, this was the goal from day one, was like, we have the talent, we have the tech, we have the community. People, as long as they get involved in this, they're going to get stuck in this. So we took the mentality of like, all right, let's release awesome projects on these chains. Well, that hasn't brought in enough of those people yet. So the kind of mindset is like, well, let's make this experience as frictionless as possible. Let's go to them. Let's bring the ecosystem and experience to them, and then they'll get stuck. Yeah, this is exciting stuff. I'm really excited for the journey over the next couple months. It's a grind for sure, but it's so exciting, especially just seeing everything. All the little pieces are starting to come together. Voodoo, I know you recently had a meeting with the Phantom Survivor team. The amount of Potluck Labs NFT and Labs utilities that will be implemented in that game is going to be huge for us, and that was a big part of our building up this ecosystem. Was we need to build up a community to get these partners that will bring awesome utilities to our stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited for Phantom Survivor. I mean, if you don't know, if you're watching, they're minting now in AVAX. They got AVAX characters, or that you can mint the avatars to play in the game, and then they also have it on Phantom still minting. But it's very limited supply. I think there's about 400 on each, something like that. And we are actually in the process of trying to build some characters, some custom characters that can then come over and be in the game as well. So really excited to see what happens there. We'll have it where you can like burn NFTs to actually like paint or tag like the walls or the buildings in the game, and it'll stay up there for other people until somebody does the same to burn over. So that'll be a fun way to like just burn some of the older NFTs or things you made. Just be like, man, I'm willing to burn this to make my mark in the game. Something fun. We'll have treasure chests type things at certain levels when you get there and unlock it, and that'll have potluck NFTs in there. We'll do that for like a limited time to try to get a lot of people playing the game. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff to implement pretty quickly on that. We got a meeting with the team tomorrow to kind of get the contracts and stuff ironed out for those to implement those things. But one thing I want to talk about, because we saw Illuminati Congo, he's always faithful watching on here. We're just kind of talking about this whole music thing and what's happening there with, I think, and I've reached out, but if you know any other musicians, artists who might be interested in doing an album this way, I think the idea, especially for an independent artist, of releasing an album as an NFT collection and then having people who collect all the different tracks in the album and burn them to be able to create like a royalty type pass, and then so you get your upfront pay that normally a record label would give you for doing an album, and then you split the royalties with the people, Web 2 royalties. But if they're not a big Web 2 artist, it's not going to work maybe as well with that method. So if they don't have a lot of streams on Spotify or iTunes or whatever people are streaming on, you can still do that same method if you've got enough of a fan base. But instead of doing royalties, you can have that pass do other things. Early access. It could give you free mints of other songs in the future. Behind this, maybe once a month, you do a select group, or a couple times a month, where just the video chat with just the people who hold those passes. And it's really just like access to the artist. And I think this answered the question, because it was like, well, how do we just release a bunch of copies of the same song in an environment like Fantom or AVAX that's limited on the amount of people that can buy. Because if it's just the same music, why own more than one? And also, if we always have to attach it with a certain like generative art to get that, well, do people actually, what do they like? A couple things. One, you got to split the payment with another artist. And then two, it's like, do they really even want this many tracks of the music, or they want the art? And so I think this last way we did it was a pretty cool way. But I think that you could do it without a generative project attached to it at all. Just releasing the album this way, doing the burning. And so it's not necessarily like people come to us to do it. We're happy to take on some artists and help some people do it. But our goal is just to like figure out a way where musicians can come into especially smaller networks like Fantom and AVAX on the NFT side with less users and be successful. And so I just challenge you, if you're an artist out there, you have friends who are musicians, to maybe take that approach.
No, what's awesome is that it was months ago when we were having the conversation of like, all right, when do music NFTs start becoming a thing? And now we're starting to see the success of them. The Goblin track did really well. The Bean song is awesome. Having the Shaman Tribe chant stuff all happen. You've got the album that Southern Empire has been releasing on a weekly basis that's having unbelievable success. I mean, again, this is the telltale signs. It takes some success of one of these projects, and all of a sudden people start waking up to like, oh yeah, music can be NFTs, and I can make some coin off of that. And all of a sudden they start collecting this stuff.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, figuring out the correct use case, if you will, right? I mean, because there just has to be some form of, because think about with the mixtape, the Southern Empire is dropping, like the tracks are unbelievable and the art is next level that goes along with it, Septa, Limit Break, and them. I mean, just absolutely like crush that. So, it is one of those things where it is, you can't, it can't just be a player that you click play and hear the song, because then what advantage, why would I buy the NFT versus just going to click play on Spotify or something like that? And so I think that right now what's happening is the space in general is really just kind of learning how to, make those adjustments to where it benefits the holder and it benefits the artist. And I think that's what the biggest hurdle always was how do we make this benefit? Obviously the artist benefits if the NFTs sell, but how does it also benefit the holder? And that's why I love the streaming royalties, all of those things, because now it brings a real tangible benefit to the holder. But even like Voodoo said, like if you had got to even if it wasn't maybe somebody that has a massive streaming, like dude, if I could get like be able to sit in on a writing session with Menez and like just watch him go through the process of coming up with his lyrics. I mean, those types of things are like, to me, there's real value in that type of environment.
Well, I think it's the exact same with JPEGs. I think you're going to need to bring that same stuff, whether it's a JPEG or a track. It's going to be the same idea. I'm going to need access to the artist. I'm going to need some other stuff versus rather to me, like having a song is no different than having something up on my wall. It's an art piece that I still get the feelings from and everything. It's just we started with JPEGs and finding the utility in JPEGs, and that's all kind of getting worked out. Like when we started, you could mint a JPEG for $1,000. Now we're having a hard time releasing a JPEG for $40 and it minting. We're in this whole free mint meta phase where people only want free JPEGs, and that the artist has to make their money off the royalties of them. So I think music's going to go through the same kind of learning developmental curves that JPEGs are going through as we speak. And there's going to be every medium. Our authors, if you're going to be writing books and stuff like that, that is going to be a new medium. I know, and it'll be on one of my underrated projects, but the 100 web characters from TapTap. The idea of buying one of these web characters gets me an ebook, and then that ebook, that ebook hypothetically could create Web 2 money. And then all of a sudden, could these characters get the royalties from the Web 2 ebook?
Well, I mean, and think about it too. Like if you were able to make, like you said, like let's say a graphic novel, or you know, something like that, like a book or whatever, and then now all of a sudden that's able to be loaded into a Kindle or loaded onto my iPad to read. Same thing where, you know, people could download it, buy it, whatever. I mean, they're streaming, you know, obviously they're streaming royalties there of people being able to get that. But I mean, I also think it could be like the same as if I go on my Kindle, I go on, you know, and I find a book, or in my iPad, I can go on there and buy a book directly on there, and now it loads on there and I can read it. And I think it very well could be the exact same thing where so much, you know, medium now is you know, moving, you know, forward in that world, that I think that only continues to become more and more, because eventually then it's going to be, well, man, there could be short movies, or like short, like TV style, like episodes or animated shorts and things like that, that now people can, you know, mint and be able to have to watch or whatever, and, you know, then resell if they wanted to or whatever, you know, just like if I used to buy a movie, I'd have it and then I could resell it or whatever. But
Well,
it's just
when you think about
the whole world.
when you think about Black Mirror, like it's a very successful show that, like, each episode is completely different. It's basically just an overall brand that has created these like little shorts. Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely on that idea. You could 100% create these, you know, different artists create these little 10-minute sets that one banner kind of takes under, and that's NFT TV basically. I'm really interested to see where music and the animators and like artists kind of come together. You see guys like Chaskai, who has done kind of music videos. So when I think about like a musician, like it's all about getting views, right? And a lot of ways to get views to a song is by having a music video, and that is not easy to do because it's either like a lot of upfront costs or whatever, right? So now you get into the, all right, well, if I'm an Illuminati Congo and I want to put a music video out, is there a benefit to me joining in with an animator who is able to put out maybe a 3-minute music video that is 100 frames of NFTs, and then you sell those 100 NFTs, that gets the kind of the funding for everybody to create that music video, which now you have a music video, which is going to be on YouTube, and ideally getting views and bringing listeners back to your songs and albums, and then again that ties into the Web 2 world and how you can offer royalties back to your Web 3 fans. And yeah, I'm so intrigued to see where this all plays out.
Yeah, I think the one fundamental, before we can go into the topics, but the one fundamental issue right now with music NFTs is the fact that you can, like, nobody streams their music through a Web3 platform right now. Like, that's just not what people are doing. You're gonna go to Spotify, you're gonna go to iTunes, you're gonna go to Amazon Prime, you're gonna go to whatever your streaming service is, you're gonna stream the music. And so I think, you know, the ability, I just really like what Congo's done here. I think the ability to, burn these tracks in Web3, have one that gives me rights to the profit in Web2, and then put the songs up on Web2 so that, you know, I have ownership in this with the artists.
Well,
you know, I get to be rewarded from the success of the song in the real world to people that aren't even in Web3.
That's exactly what's played out for me, because I made sure to get one of these royalty passes for Congo because I'm a big fan, and that's what I'm doing. I have hit that album downloaded on Spotify and put in my playlist, but I'm receiving a benefit from listening to the fucking songs that I enjoy listening to on Spotify.
Well, and
Which
you
I think is
now
like a wild concept.
you have a vested interest
Yeah,
in
exactly.
promoting that album, right? The more and so it does become that thing, because now you're gonna want to tell people, dude, you got to check out this Illuminati Congo album. You got to do all of this stuff, because the more that plays, right, the more benefit that can ultimately get passed on to you. And so I think it's an incredible way to get a community that not just supports you, but is willing to promote you. And I think that's where things start to really take off, is when people move from the supporting to the promoting. And every big community in anything, it's always been where people have come in, supported, maybe bought some NFTs, did whatever, and then transitioned to tweeting about it, talking about it, look at this, telling other people about it. And it's, when your supporters become promoters, that's when anything takes off. And I think this in the music world, helps supporters have a reason to be promoters.
That's a great way to look at it, because that is the whole game, is how do you turn those supporters into promoters. And in the end, yeah, Web3 feels like it's the most empowering method to do that, because now you're actually creating assets for your community. I like what you said earlier. Like, I think that's the next step for TV. When Netflix is down 200,000 subscribers on a monthly basis now, if I want to tap into subscribers, well, guess what? There's a bunch of these NFT communities that already have characters that they would love to see in a TV show. And I'm sure if I gave them a slight little royalty percentage, that they'd be promoting to everybody. So I think that's kind of where things are trending. You see the music video of Snoop Dogg and Eminem with their Bored Apes, that music video. Like, I think that's the beginning of this. Soulja Boy will be putting out something that will be his NFTs. Like, that is where I think a lot of this is going to go. And it's kind of cool, because, I mean, that was a cool music video. I feel like we went through a time where music videos kind of been shitty lately. And it's kind of bringing back this new culture again. But let's jump into the topics. What be minting? So I got a little list here. So some of my favorites, Big Cat Club. I really like what Big Cat Club is building. They got a whole DeFi aspect to their NFTs. This is kind of an expansion of the family. They've got a trait shop and a whole bunch of stuff. Low supply. It's kind of a high price, but for the supply of it, I'm bullish. Visionary Premium, which is they're building out a whole damn platform. It's gonna be like a social media NFT kind of platform. And these Visionary and Premium, I think they kind of act like our Platinum passes. So you're gonna get a vision token allocation and a bunch of other whitelisting benefits, stuff like that. I gotta talk. Egg Emporium, I think, is one of the greatest projects. I showcased them. We were talking about the awesome eggs last time. Again, really, really limited supply. I bought my egg when Fantom was $3.50 at the 250 Fantom price, and Fantom is 35 cents. So I'm even more bullish the eggs. The other one I want to mention is behind PlotTwist. I see you got a couple of them. The Fantom jerseys. I think that is a really cool model in terms of, like, the idea I can mint the NFT. People can just buy the merch shirt, and then I get like the royalty if I hold the NFT of that shirt. I think that's a very interesting way that the fashion industry might kind of move itself into.
Yeah,
because it's another way to get your funding off the get-go to then put into your production.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I actually have a Canada jersey that apparently is yours that is sitting over here. It's white, red, Canada, maple leaf.
Nice.
Voodoo. It got shipped to my house. So
perfect. More of a reason for me to come visit.
Yeah, I'm refusing to mail it to.
Yeah.
The only way you can get it is to get it in person. So
it's got to be hand delivered. I like this.
Yeah.
Just like the Gotham Apes behind them, he doesn't deliver physicals.
No.
Yeah. We'll keep them until you come get them, because not your keys, not your wallet.
That's.
I'm glad you brought up Gotham Apes, because he has his mint going still right now.
About 100 left.
Yeah, about 100 left, and I have I can't give any type of alpha on it, but I'm excited about it. I have one and I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
On the AVAX side of things, it's not minting, but the 100 web characters by TapTap on JPEGs, there's only 18 of them left on the primary sale. So again, that's one of the, if you buy one of these on primary sale, you will be getting an ebook. He had a great power hour with Johnny where I got to kind of learn who TapTap is, and awesome to hear his journey and what he's continuing to build. It's been great seeing the spotlight get shone on him. I think he's like the top selling artist on AVAX right now in volume. And it was amazing. It's just amazing to see because, you know, he was one of the first guys that we kind of fell in love with when we were making our journey over to AVAX.
Yep.
And to see when we first made our journey over to AVAX, nobody was buying one-on-one art. So, you know, awesome to see how the ecosystem has really changed.
Yeah, I'm excited for him, man. Love seeing the success. We've had some chats in the DMs about some deeper conversations, and he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
I have full faith that he's really good for the ecosystem. I mean, Adobe was tweeting about him for some contest that they had his art in with their 500,000 something followers. So yeah, big stuff there on Fantom. Woven has Kane's Komodos that are up right now. They're only 20 Fantom. It's like a 700 supply. It's about 250 minted so far, and 50% of the proceeds, so 10 Fantom from every mint, go to I think it's Bethany's children. I've read his story, but basically they had a child that was born and didn't even know the wife had preeclampsia. The child was born really early, and this medical group was able to basically save their kid's life. And just to do a mint where it's awesome pixel art, and half the money on a 20 Fantom mint goes to charity. I think that's really awesome for people to be able to participate in that. So yeah, man, go throw some Fantom at that for a good cause and get yourself some cool PFPs. And Woven actually, it has another project coming out that's totally different from anything else they've done before.
Yeah.
By Edge Technician. So I'm not going to spill too much alpha, but I think he just posted a video teaser. Didn't really show the art, but it teased you. And if you like their cute, cuddly art that they typically have, this is not for you. This is different.
It's not.
This is more for us DJs who like the darker Fantom theme stuff. So I'm really excited about this one. When he showed me it, I was like, this is my favorite yet, man. So really love what he's done.
South just brought up a couple awesome ones in the chat. AVAX Machina by Freud.
Yep.
They just did an awesome in real life event. That bus that they had looked incredible. To see that team, I get a little emotional thinking about it. Like what that team is doing for Freud is massive. I can't say how much success I want to see Freud have. Like if there's somebody I want to see win in this ecosystem, like he's absolutely one of them. And I just think that's a huge step for him. He'd even said that this was probably the craziest experience in his whole NFT journey so far. Those guys were the original trailblazers in the idea of going cross-chain. So I can't shout out Freud enough. And AVAX Machina, I mean, that's a project that's really trying to do some things.
Yeah.
And then our Robotos are still minting on
Roboto
AVAX as well. Nice. And that's kind of interesting because I've seen a big ass sweep happen on them on the Fantom side on NFT Key, and just checking out our bot in our Discord. So the floor on NFT Key is 70 Fantom, and mint price is 0.8 AVAX, which is actually only about 60 Fantom right now.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think there's like 40% left. It was at 60% minted on AVAX. I have no idea. Like we looked at the wallet. I have no idea what's going on with the person who just bought like 40 Roboto on Fantom. Maybe they just saw it and they're like, I freaking love this stuff and I want to buy it. I don't know. The wallet's pretty new. I don't know who it is, but hey, thank you for doing it. There's a lot of people who had theirs listed that are probably pretty happy, that they were able to make some money. And thank you for pushing the floor up. But it was super strange this morning. Fanny's dude in Discord just posted in that channel, what just happened? And so then I hit the sales button, I looked, and I was like, yeah, what did just happen? I don't know. But I was also like, man, I wish he would have discovered that it's still minting on AVAX. Would have been nice to get it minted out. He probably could have minted it out himself with all those buys.
Yeah, no,
But yeah, awesome art. We talked about it earlier. And then yeah, Ali Ergen. Ali Ergen, incredible artist, had been in every one of our potluck. I believe from the first week we did cross chain auctions. I think he was in there, if not the second one. Incredible artist. It's really like a fine art generative with beautiful like musical scenes. Looks like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it except they released a little preview. It's incredible. So it's going to be releasing on Kalau. I'm assuming it's going to sell out really quick. I'm assuming the floor is going to be good. I don't know any of that, like for sure, but just there's nothing like it out there, and it's awesome art, and we love him. So go support him. Just as someone who's been in the potluck community and been a great contributor, he's not a potluck artist. This isn't a potluck project, but I personally got some AVAX moved over to try to mint, so I'm really excited about it. All right, what's next? What do we want to underrated projects here? Let me just share this, and then I'm gonna run inside real quick and get some water because I'm sitting out here and like it's like 90 degrees and humid. So PlotTwist, I know you're gonna feel real bad for me, but I am starting to sweat. Slothtopia was on here earlier. What's happening with the Uman integration into Slothtopia with the avatars? I mean, underrated. Everything Slothtopia is doing is underrated. I'm so excited for what they're bringing, the utility to all these other projects that they're bringing, the condos. They did auctions in there, being able to play music. It's just adding utility and fun to pretty much any NFT project in Fantom or AVAX that wants it. And, just it was like a 13-man team building. So whatever they're going to build something great, and they deserve our support 100%.
Yeah, I mean those are the big thinkers in the space. Really, when you think about it, it's the people that are building like the platforms, like those are like your massive winners long term, right? And Slothtopia is doing just that. The idea that we have a usable metaverse and we have 2 sets of usable avatars already that are now implemented in this metaverse, and then I can put my NFTs up on the wall. And Chronic Dispositions just hosted his first like intimate auction where he had 8 collectors come into his penthouse and do a live auction in a metaverse. That is massive, and there are very few ecosystems in all of crypto that have that. So again, when you think of like this next bull run, as Slothtopia's got stuff implemented, Potluck will be moving a lot of cool stuff, doing stuff in Slothtopia. I can't speak highly enough about Slothtopia. And I think everything about his project is underrated, whether it's the 3 art series, whether it's his avatars, whether it's his condos, you name it, everything is underrated.
Right.
For my little underrated list, I want to mention a few on AVAX. I think Seasons, the collection by Moonbags of Campfire, I just can't stress enough. I think it's kind of like a fine art generative, small supply, 333 pieces by the guy that co-built Campfire. I think Campfire is going to be fucking massive in the future. So the idea that this is Moonbags' NFT project, I think is also just underrated. Metamorph NFTs. Now, this is a Discord I highly recommend everybody join. They're kind of I'll call it the hash lounge of the AVAX community, where they were the ones that kind of started the whole collaborative artist effort on Avalanche. That was the Discord that I got in when I found Ali Ergen and Tunch and Tap Tap. They all kind of get in there, and it's a great artist hangout. But that group also has its own NFT project, and it's another like kind of fine art generative. It reminds me of like an art blocks type of style. I think that one's super underrated.
Yeah.
To stay on AVAX, I got a couple more. Spaceful NFT. Yigit, he's been through the Potluck Auction House quite a few times. I think his collection, his one of one collection, just recently completed sellout, or it's like almost there. But I just think he is highly underrated. He's participated in a bunch of the community collections and doing legendaries for other projects. And you can tell he's one of these artists that just have their unique style, and I think he's going to be massive. On the Fantom side, I got a couple. Autocolor Technica, I just think is unbearably underrated in terms of like Fantom NFTs. It's a physical gallery down in Arkansas, an artist who's had 30 years of experience. The amount of effort that they, creating these physical images, moving that into the digital world, making digital alterations. The entire collection is one of ones, 2056 one of ones. I've got 2 awesome physicals. One of them is fucking 4 feet by 4 feet. It's incredible work, and I'm excited to see what they continue to do, especially as they're onboarding people in the traditional art world into the NFT world, which I think is massive for our ecosystem. I'm going to stay on the Han Lee train because we have a generative Cream Meow out on Ethereum. You're going to want the one of one works that she has on Fantom or any of the other projects. I think Podtown's super underrated, but her Phantasm box and Phantasm Meow collections, I just think are still underrated as she continues to build out her brand. And my last ones, this is kind of one of our little potluck trios. Felipe Ortega of Obsession, Necro Demons, and Danetron, Hunters of Evil. All 3 of those artists, again, as they've started to build their cross-chain brand, I think it's massive. As I mentioned that alpha earlier about Joe Pegs trying to put on an event, it's probably a good idea to pick up these guys because I'm assuming that they will be involved in this. Yeah, I'm excited to see as their brands continue to build as well because their art is just too good.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay. Well, I think we in the last 3 minutes just talk about some upcoming stuff. So we have Swole Starlist coming out. We're not sure if the mint, we're targeting Saturday for the mint. We're going to be doing some special things in the Discord for whitelist spots. We've already announced some things where you'll get get early access if you have a Giga Chad. And Ultimate Pass, Platinum Pass, those will get some early access. But in addition to that, we're going to be doing some gamified stuff in our Discord and a private channel. That'll be fun, something we've never done before. Sarge is going to kind of lead that, and hopefully we can bring in some new people in the ecosystem for that and just have fun. And I think with only 1,050, I think available, and then these all getting you a ticket to Swole Beach. All of them are going to have you'll be able to get voxel characters of these as well. You'll be able to get on Swole Beach. You'll be able to use those voxel characters because of the way we're doing the contracts, talking with Sloth, it's going to be traversable. So the mint will be on ETH, but you'll be able to traverse them. So if there's a metaverse play on AVAX or Phantom that you want to go interact with, or even in the future, maybe like Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum, any of these, you'll be able to traverse your voxel characters. And so you're going to want a Swole Starlet for sure. Very excited about that. 0.03 will be the cost, so super inexpensive mint as well with a limited supply. So man, this is going to be fun. And then we also have, I think we've come up with the name. I think we're just going to call them the Doodle Lanterns. So the Doodle Lanterns are going to be coming out probably beginning the next week sometime. There's not a lot of alpha and price and supply yet, but if you hold 4 lanterns, you'll be getting airdropped 1. So for every 4, so if you hold 8, you'll get 2, and that'll be a good percentage of the supply on Phantom. And we'll probably do a mint of about 200 more, and then on AVAX, I think we're going to mint 200 as well. And so the public will have about 200 in each chain. Should be a real quick mint. Should be awesome. And then half the proceeds from that, both on the mint and royalties, will go to buying up the floor of Potluck Projects, and then also Fantom Lanterns, the OG project. And then those will be given to the holders of the Doodle Llamas who are staking So there'll be like a drawing each week, and random stakers will win. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Just a different way to try to support the OG projects with, without the team taking like our normal cut. You just have the artists getting their pay and then using the rest of the money as much as possible to support the floors and to benefit the holders. So really excited for that. If you missed it, the Doodle Llamas are coming on board with Potluck. We're helping with the next phases of that project, so you can actually go on our labs website. And if you're having issues on the labs website, some people are, some people aren't. We are actually like redoing the contracts for labs, and so if you're not able to stake or earn right now, just know we've like taken snapshots. We're going to be able, when we implement the new contract, to put the amount in your wallet that you should have. So we'll take care of you. But if you can stake, if it is working for you, you can claim labs on the Doodle Llamas now. And we're working on a project there between the Optimistic Onis and the Doodle Llamas to basically have some, I don't know what we're going to call them, Doodle Donies, Optimistic Llamas, who knows? So
Llamas, I love that one.
Optimistic Llamas, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun, and that project will also go to support the OGs for both of those. So the profits will be used to buy up the floors of llamas and buy up the floors of the Onis, redistributing to the holders of the new ones. So it's going to provide a lot of value for both those projects. So I would go ahead and scoop up Onis, scoop up llamas, make it happen. If you don't have enough, I just bought more yesterday. So I bought another AVAX, another Fantom one, because I saw the floor had crept down a little bit, people sleeping, but it's still pretty strong. But the Onis, there's some good sweeps you can do on those too. So also working with those artists to do another collection with Nature Boy who's behind, kind of like Gotham Apes, or Mofo is behind Gotham Apes. Nature Boy has a bunch of projects that he's kind of the head and the genius behind, and there's different artists that work on them. And so we're working with the artist and with him to create a new collection that's it's going to come out. And yeah, dude, I'm just super excited. There's so many good things. We're looking at hopefully the end of the month on the 29th, the Cosmic Friends Mint. Hopefully that's ready and happens then. If not, it'll probably be the week after, but very excited for that. The Acid Verse expanding, going to be awesome. Also coming up, we got the Evil Family, which is kind of like Gen 2 taken over by Evil Beard for the Dead Family, kind of playing off that Dead Family theme. Going to be an incredible mint, so that'll be coming up probably the very beginning of August. And then for the Evil Beans and the Beans on Acid, there are free projects coming out that will just allow you, or they're limited in quantity. So it'll be first come, first serve, and then, it's not an indefinite amount. I think there'll be 200 of the next gen of what's coming for the Evil Beans, and then there'll be 300 for Teens on Acids project. And so you'll have to burn a certain amount of beans. So it'll be 5 beans for each that you have to burn to create these new ones. So you may want to stock up. It's going to be pretty awesome, but it's going to burn down those supplies, increase the floors, and give a new collection. I'm going to have a real hard time burning beans, but we'll manage. We'll find a way to burn it. I'll keep most, but I'll at least burn a set of 5 for each. But I think that's it. We got a lot of alpha. I probably missed some projects. There's so many things we're working on behind the scenes, but yeah, that's it for today. If you guys got anything, man, I'm out. I need to go jump in this pool. I'm sweating my tail off here. So I am all out of alpha.
Yep. Another episode in the books, number 25, ladies and gents. We're a quarter of the way to 100 already. Jeez.
Heck yes. Doodle Donny sounds like a Kraft mac and cheese derivative. All right, we're probably going to go with Doodle Donny. Okay, we're probably not going to do that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll cross that off the list. All right. So for PlotTwist, Tinfoil, True Voodoo, NFT Alpha, we are out. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. Talk to you later.